Autopen meets real authority. Heh. Coming up, no Muslim schools here, please. Thank you very much. And a student has been found with a machine gun and some rather awful plans, and that could have turned out to be very bad. It didn't, thank God, but we'll tell you about it coming up. Welcome to the Jay Sheldon Show. We are live on Rumble and X. A little late, but we got there eventually. Thank you. And thanks for popping by. I appreciate it, whether you're watching us live right now, 10 a.m. Eastern Time, or on video on demand, replay later. You can also find us on YouTube, The Jay Sheldon Show over there. Give us a follow or a subscribe. And also, of course, our show is a podcast on all your favorite podcast platforms. You can find the audio part of our show. Head over there, sign up, subscribe, give us a thumbs up, good review, all that happy stuff you're supposed to do that helps the show, and it's free, and thank you. All right, we got a lot going on. It's a Wednesday, halfway through the week, so hopefully we'll get through it. We're looking pretty good on Rumble. Twitter seems okay, so I guess we are pretty much off to the races. Yep, Trump has rejected, I love this, every single pardon or commutation Biden signed with an Autopen. If it was done with an Autopen, you're gone. Quiet anger rising up because very few Americans trusted Joe Biden, obviously. They trusted his final acts even less, given his total lack of awareness. He was out of it completely at the end. You have to admit that. And a signature machine making freedom decisions for felons and more created a kind of sense of fraud. A fraud on the whole country, really. President Trump made no bones about it. He has no intention of honoring any pardon that never received an authentic signature by Joe Biden's actual pause. Then Trump pushed the point even further, ordering every document, contract, legal instrument signed by that Autopen device be treated as void, making it abundantly clear that he intends to wipe away any clemency that never received an actual, real signature. Now, that spark caught fire when Trump spoke to a country tired of bureaucrats using distance and gadgets to cover choices that demand full personal responsibility. You think, Joe? Now, legal scholars are saying that Trump has stepped out of bounds, arguing that no president can undo a predecessor's pardon once the recipient accepts it. Now, on paper, they have a point. A pardon gets finality as acceptance. Once the person who received the pardon or the clemency accepts it, it is assumed to be final, a done deal. The courts treat that acceptance as ironclad. Now, lawyers love purity on paper, and a lot of Americans love fairness even more. And Trump argues that Biden never granted pure pardons because of a machine that was impersonating the president. The president never even gave permission that he was aware of to use the machine. Biden already had credibility problems, obviously, and a device that signs his name for mercy cases just adds to that mistrust. Trump stepped into that space and said, that's it, no more. We are done with this crap. And that speaks more to moral clarity than it does legalness. American history offers a lot of examples of presidents taking action that looked legally a little shaky, but stood on firmer moral ground. Andrew Jackson signed a Supreme Court ruling in the Worcester case because he believed it would harm national stability. Abraham Lincoln suspended habeas corpus during the Civil War because open rebellion threatened our republic. Harry Truman seized the steel mills during the Korean War because he believed a strike would cripple war production. Courts pushed back on some of these moves. History often judged intent rather than legal technicality. And Americans saw our leaders place orders or fairness above the rigid legal guidelines, which is the way it should be. And Trump now joins that family of presidents who tried to correct an abuse even while the lawyers ran around with their hair on fire, screaming and yelling about it. America elects a person, not a stylus attached to an electric motor, staffer pressing a button. A pardon needs to have some sort of presence. Presence. Not a president who just is in la la land while his staff pushes a button on a machine that signs his name. And Biden's reliance on that machine during a time when his cognitive steadiness looked very fragile created a fog around every single one of those names that went free. Trump pointed at that fog and said, "That's enough. Not doing it." He says he will reinstate sentences and personally review every case, placing himself on the hook for the decisions Biden tried to dodge. That posture aligns with a broader theme of his administration: accountability and a vow to restore trust in institutions that had completely lost any respect from us at all. He wiped away the Autopen clemency, shifted the weight back into the actual office of the president. Now, people might argue how legal all that is at the end of the day, but voters care about leaders who can carry the load. And those who hide behind mechanical shortcuts just ain't happening. Trump called out that shortcut. Trump is accepting full responsibility. I'm growing tired of government workers who treat power like privilege rather than a duty. Trump's stance on the Autopen speaks to a more profound desire for clarity. When a president hides behind a device, a pardon just becomes a hollow, worthless act. It means nothing. The president faces each and every case and then signs with intention. That's a real decision. The Republic needs honest signatures, leaders who accept the cost of their choices. Trump struck at the gimmick that not only allowed one president to dodge his duty, but allowed people other than the president to be running this place. The country now watches this debate that goes along technical lines, not moral responsibility. There is a huge difference. If the evidence shows that Biden leaned on this device as a granting mercy that never got any of his full attention, well, then Trump stands on very righteous ground. And we respect leaders who carry that burden rather than pass it on to a machine. We have to keep our values in strong voices. Men and women who mean what they say and say what they mean, and who are personally involved in every aspect. When you put your pen on that paper and give it your approval and your signature, it has to mean something. And what Trump has done is to say, that's it, no more. Let us pray that this will hold. Can't guarantee it because you know how these court systems are, but we shall see. Oh, here's a great one. You're going to love this. A TSA agent says he's a woman, he's not, and claims he has a civil right to grope women. Well, I'm a woman too. Despite his name and his demands that the rest of us pretend along with him, Danielle Mitterreader is a man, or at the very least, he's a male, M-A-L-E, male. Despite his delusions, his fantasy, more likely in this age of absurdity because of them, Danielle is also a TSA agent. Now, that in and of itself is absurd enough. A man who is in the grip of severe confusion and delusion doesn't seem on the face of it to be rather well suited to the job of identifying and stopping potential terrorists when he can't really even figure out what he is. But the story gets a lot worse. You knew that was coming. Since his bosses at the Transportation Security Administration are aware that the name of the agency is not the Transgender Security Agency, and because they know that Danielle is really a man, they do not allow him to pat down women. He's a man. And now, Mitterreader Danielle is outraged. And guess what? He's suing, of course. Because he really, really wants to pat down women. And because he really, really wants the TSA and the rest of us to play along with his little fantasies and pretend he's a woman. A self-proclaimed, is there any other kind, transgender employee, this is the Western Journal, filed a lawsuit over his inability to perform pat-downs under the Trump administration. Danielle Mitterreader filed the suit over the TSA's policy that stipulates that only male agents can pat down men and only female agents can pat down women. Now, the point of that policy is rather obvious. TSA pat-downs are rather humiliating if you've ever been through one. They are very intrusive. And without having to add to the possibility that some perverted agent committing sexual assault in the guise of checking for weapons. Yes, that can happen in the same-sex pat-downs as well, but it's much more likely to take place with a male agent and some female passenger than it is any other scenario. Danielle is challenging the Department of Homeland Security over its new policy, ensuring that TSA agents can only screen members of their actual sex. He says the same-sex pat-down policy violates his federal civil rights. Yeah, no, really, he said that. These intrusive, unwarranted, unnecessary TSA searches, now they're a civil right. Of course, we have to stop jihadi terrorists trying to bring down airplanes. But treating every passenger as if he or she were a jihadi terrorist is just security theater. It's not actual security. It'd be much more efficient to just identify people who are genuinely threatening, like Israel does. But that would involve profiling, and profiling, clutching pearls, can't have that. The show must go on, this security theater crap. The lawsuit is complaining that solely because it's a guy, okay, is transgender, now prohibits plaintiff from conducting core functions of her job, impedes her advancement to higher positions and specialized certifications, excludes her from TSA controlled facilities, and subjects her to her identity to unwanted and undue scrutiny each workday. Oh, the lawyers really had a field day with this one. Trump admin puts the same-sex pat-down in place after the Biden regime's wholehearted embrace of the delusion and confusion. And before that, everything was just sunshine and roses for little old Danielle. The lawsuit says he has identified and presented as a woman throughout his tenure with the TSA. And this involved doing what is now forbidden, performing pat-downs of female passengers. And then, of course, came Orange Man Bad. Signed the executive order February 7th this year, and that forbid federal agencies to pretend that men are women and women are men. And accordingly, Danielle's professional jollies, well, he didn't just seem to be able to do that anymore. Too bad, too sad. Now, the establishment media, of course, is outraged. They think Danielle should be allowed to pretend that he's a woman in any way he wishes to. AP asked Department of Homeland Security to comment on the lawsuit, and DHS spokesperson Tricia McLaughlin was ready. Does the AP want female travelers subjected to pat-downs by male TSA officers? What a useless and fundamentally dangerous idea to prioritize mental delusion over the comfort and safety of American passengers. Great quote from her. Now, this ain't over, not by a long shot. But Danielle's attorney, Jonathan Puth, says the Trump policy is terribly demeaning and 100% illegal. Well, that could be, but it's something else. It's common freaking sense. They all present Danielle as being courageous, a heroic victim of an unjust policy. He's a freak who wants to fondle women. Full stop. Case is pending. Yes. As I always say, what a world. What a world. And if you think that's bad, wait till you hear about this one. This is a story of a very, very close call. Delaware University. A student was found with a machine gun and plans for a major terror attack. Here is the lovely fellow who had the machine gun and plans for a terror attack. From the looks of it, this one could have been bad. I mean, really bad. Cops stopped a car that was in the park after hours in Washington, Delaware, late November. The driver refused to exit the vehicle, and officers detained him. And what they found next was scary, to say the least. Police searched the Tacoma, found several items inside, including a loaded handgun, extended magazines, body armor, a laptop, and binoculars. They also found a notebook which allegedly contained notes on warfare techniques, assault plans, and a diagram of the University of Delaware Police Department. The guy, 25-year-old Lukman Khan, turned out to be a University of Delaware student. And it gets worse. According to police, the notebook also mentioned a member of the University of Delaware Police Department by name and included a drawing of the department's building with entry and exit points. Federal authorities they searched his home, where they found a handgun equipped with an illegal switch which allows it to be turned into a machine gun. This was a huge near miss. Thank God they found this guy. Within the vehicles, firearms, ammunition, composition notebook, discussing additional weapons and firearms, how they could be used in an attack, and how the law enforcement detection could be avoided once you carried out that attack. The Department of Justice issued a statement saying Khan faces some serious charges. I would certainly freaking hope so. Criminal complaint charges, possession of a machine gun. If convicted, maximum penalty of 10 years in prison. Really? That's it? If Khan's ultimately convicted, federal court judge will determine any sentence after taking into account sentencing guidelines and other statutory factors, they say. The ongoing investigation being conducted by the FBI and the Newcastle County Police Department. Here once again is the goofy guy, and to the left, pistol, machine gun, body armor. Look at those extended magazines. Not a whole lot about this guy's background has been released, except that he was a resident of Wilmington, Delaware, and the university was very quick to denounce him. Laura Carlson from the University of Delaware's interim president said a statement, Lukman Khan has been banned from the campus until the investigation is completed, and they've temporarily separated from the student to the university, including a ban from all UD campuses while legal matters are being resolved. We're working closely with law enforcement throughout the matter and are sharing the information with you now that we've been cleared to do so. This was too close, folks. Close to experiencing another tragic incident in this country by a seemingly unhinged individual. Don't have a lot of background on this guy, but man. And great work by the Newcastle Police Department, who made sure that that didn't happen, because this could have turned into a nightmare. Not good. Not good at all. Blackout coffee, good stuff. Hey, your local Marine recruiter, or any one of the recruiters, Marine, Navy, Army, whatever it is, Air Force, pretty good guys, wouldn't you think? Public facing forward of whatever agency they're representing. Yeah. Except for one Marine recruiter who has now pled no contest after being held at gunpoint by a homeowner. This story, I'm telling you. Marine recruiter Ricardo Perez Castillo pleaded no contest to charges after being held at gunpoint by a homeowner after a home invasion in Michigan. Castillo, June 15, 2024, made his way into a home in the 8,000 block of Ella Terrace Court in Rockford through a side door in the early morning hours of June 15th. He grabbed a knife from the kitchen and then, taking off his pants and his underwear, he went upstairs in the home, checking bedrooms, and entered the one in which there were two young girls. The daughter of the homeowner and an 11-year-old girl were sleeping in the bedroom he entered, and he is alleged to have stabbed the 11-year-old repeatedly. His attack ended when the homeowner entered the room with a gun and held him at gunpoint until the police arrived. Jeez. He pled no contest to assault with intent to murder, first-degree home invasion, second-degree assault with intent to commit criminal sexual conduct. Documents say he allegedly told detectives he planned to kill the girl and then have sex with her dead body. This is a recruiter for the Marine Corps? Marines, who the hell are you putting out there? You vetting these people at all? His attorney says his client had to overcome many hurdles and a life of hardship, like losing his brother to alcoholism at the age of 23 and watching his mother in a very abusive relationship. Bullshit. You know what, pal? I had a terrible childhood. My father left when I was, 14, 15 years old, leaving me to be the father of the house. My mother, absolutely beside herself, wound up hospitalized over it. I had a horrible tween teens childhood. Previous to that, no problem. So I don't want to hear any crap-ass bullshit excuse that you had a hard childhood. You lost your brother and your mom was in an abusive relationship. Get the hell over it. So was I. And I didn't turn out too bad after all. Sickening. Says he joined the military as a way of serving his community. Yeah, sorry, we're not buying that one either. These people and their freaking lame-ass excuses. Unbelievable. The people of Alabama have spoken up, and the Alabama Zoning Commission has said no thanks to the plans for a Muslim school after a huge town outcry. Oh, yeah. A town in Alabama absolutely tanked plans to build a Muslim school in their area, with the zoning commission citing traffic concerns and some locals pointing to the cultural takeover in Dearborn, Michigan, and the UK. You got that right. Residents of Hoover in suburban Birmingham showed up in force to a zoning commission meeting Monday, 2 days ago. The board voted on whether to allow the establishment of the Islamic Academy. According to 170 locals attending the meeting, where a lot were opposed to this motion, to move the existing Muslim school from Homewood to Hoover. And the commission ended up unanimously denying the zoning request, citing traffic concerns and questions about long-term use of the site. Everybody in the crowd at this meeting erupted in applause after the vote. Residents agreed with the board's reasons for denial. There was also a lot of heavy discussion about religious and cultural concerns, blah, blah, bullshit. Protesters stood in the meeting room holding signs in opposition to the school. Some read, "Give an inch, Dearborn, Michigan," and others said, "Stop the 100-year plan," in reference to the theory that Muslims are staging a takeover of American institutions. Some voiced concerns the schools would hinder business development in Hoover. "You're going to have real problems with this community, I'm just telling you now," said resident Bruce Davis. "There's going to be an influx of other people that are going to create a problem for this community, and we might as well just face it." The commission's rejection now goes before the city council. There will be a final vote, but the chances are there will be no Muslim school in Hoover. Wow. People are fighting back. People are putting their foot down and saying, no, thank you. What else we got? Oh, do you remember this story? You must remember this story. Where are we? Hello. Why is that not going to work over there? All right, then, we'll try it this way. You remember the cop who it turned out was an illegal immigrant? Yeah, that one. Well, guess what? He got his job back. Immigrant cop, an illegal immigrant, alien, previously nabbed by ICE, returns to work for the Illinois Police Department. The department said his first shift back since his detention took place yesterday. They seem very proud. He was arrested by federal authorities in October and later released, and he has since been brought back onto the police force. Hanover PD announced Tuesday it's brought Radul Bojovic, an illegal immigrant from Montenegro, back on as an officer following his release from Immigration and Customs Enforcement in October. He overstayed a B-2 visa. It was a tourist visa that required him to leave the States March 31st, 2015. Department of Homeland Security said this at the time he was arrested. Immigration judge granted him a $2,500 immigration bond 2 weeks after he was picked up by ICE, and he returned to work Monday. He'll get a paycheck, believe it or not, for all the time he missed from work. Yep, they're considering all that as back pay. Given his bond was not contested and he remains authorized to work by the federal government, the Hanover PD determined he may return to work. Village in Hanover Park going to provide Officer Bojovic back pay for the time he was on leave. Read, arrested and in detention. Despite his immigration status, Bojovic hired in January because he had a federal work permit and passed the background checks, according to the department. Eligible to hit starting salary, $78,955. That ain't bad. His 2025 earnings, obviously the guy puts in a lot of overtime. Listen to this. In 2025, $205,000, including $9,276 for FICA and Medicare taxes. Over $200,000 a year, this guy. By the way, he's authorized to carry a firearm while he's on duty. We live in bizarro world, folks. Bizarro world. Maryland late again. Sorry, citing back to the beginning. Be blessed. Praise the Lord. Thank you. Thank you, Maryland. Oh, man. It just gets curiouser and curiouser. Let's do a little AI thing, shall we? Why not? Artificial music for artificial ears. AI has now taken to rockin' the jukebox. To say we live in weird times, forget all the previous stuff we just talked about. That would be an understatement. As amazing as technology is, the world of artificial intelligence is making life in a weird world all the more weirder. Is that a word, weirder? I think so. In the past month, listen to this. The song at the top of the Billboard's Country Digital Song Sales Chart was not written and sung by some down-on-his-luck guitar player with boots and a cowboy hat. It wasn't even sung by a pop star as a crossover hit, as recently has been the trend. Oh no, folks. The number one song, called Walk by Walk, by the artist Breaking Rust, is 100% generated by AI. I'm going to play part of it for you in a minute. Now, it is a damn catchy tune, pop beats, lyrics that are pretty damn cool, rivals a lot of chart-topping country songs. Not that deep. The chorus, rather defiant. You can kick rocks if you don't like how I talk. I'm going to keep on talking and walk my walk. I'm not sure if telling someone to kick rocks is a real insult, but in certain regions, I guess it is. But this is AI. Completely. The lyrics, the song, the voice, the instruments, all of it. Now, to be honest, it ain't that bad. Like I said, it's coming up in a minute. Compared to the balance of a lot of other popular songs on the market, this ain't half bad at all. Perfectly hits the spot of the music market. I suppose the AI prompt that started it was something like, write me a catchy country song that mimics the style of chart toppers over the past 2 years. Where's the link? Here we go. Let's take a look. And again, I can't play a lot of this because I'm sure going to get a bang on a copyright. But this is the group Breaking Rust and the number one charting song, Walk My Walk. And again, remember, absolutely none of this was done by real people. It is all AI. Listen up.
Been beat down, but I don't stay low. Got mud on my jeans, still ready to go. Every scar's a story that I survived. I've been through hell, but I'm still alive. They said, slow down, boy, don't go too fast. But I ain't never been one to live in the past. I keep Moving forward, never looking back, with a worn out hat and a 6-string strap. You can kick rocks if you don't like how I talk. I'm gonna keep on talking and walk my walk. Ain't changing my tone, ain't changing my song. I was born this way, been loud too long. You can hate my style, you can roll your eyes, but I ain't slowing down, I was born to rise. So kick them rocks if you don't like how I talk. I'm gonna keep on talking and walk my walk.
Wow! Like I said, it ain't bad. That voice is AI generated. The music, the drums, the guitars, everything written by AI. Catchy tune. Not bad at all. Absolutely amazing. Breaking Rust is the name. And it's not just getting all the AI love. A group called Fake Music Lab, at least it's being honest, made a video called Reimagining Ice Ice Baby as a Soul Song. And this one, let me see if I can get it to come up. This one is absolutely amazing. Again, I'm going to get in so much copyright trouble over this, but it's worth it. You got to hear this. Again, like the last one from a group called Fake Music Lab, nothing here is done by real live people. This is crazy insane. Listen.
Yo, VIP, let's kick it. Ice, ice, baby. Ice, ice, baby.
All right, stop, collaborate and listen. Ice is back with my brand new invention. Something grabs a hold of me tightly, flow like a harpoon daily and nightly. Will it ever stop? Yo, I don't know.
Wow. I mean, there you go. All of our music is no longer coming out of people's hearts and souls, coming out of computer chips. Incredible. When it comes to praising the Lord through music, Asphas, the psalmist, said it best. So we will not be silent before you. Morning and evening, your praise will dwell on our lips. Our children will learn the refrain of your faithfulness, and their children after them will proclaim it anew. For great is the Lord and greatly to be praised. His steadfast love is the song that upholds the world. The only problem is, Asaph didn't say that. ChatGPT said it when I asked it to write me a psalm in the style of Asaph that talks about singing praises. Turns out AI is pretty well versed enough in the scriptures to write a pretty decent psalm. That part I just read was written by ChatGPT. Think about it. And it's only getting bigger and more intelligent. And can it be very long before it's sentient? I wouldn't think so. Frighteningly enough, I wouldn't think so. All right. We're going to wrap it up for today. Thanks for popping by on a Wednesday morning. Appreciate you being here. Please do follow the show. Hit up our sponsors, Blackout Coffee, Patriot Mobile, and make a purchase there. Help to support this program. I appreciate that. If you just want to do stuff for free that can help support the show, follow, subscribe, hit the thumbs up button. We really appreciate that. And I'll be back again tomorrow morning, 10 a.m., for the J. Sheldon Show. See ya.